Hey everybody, welcome back to the Jedi Council Room. I'm your host, David Lee, Identity Jedi. Today we're going to talk about virtual directories. Oh yeah. So what exactly is a virtual directory? This is something that I believe every identity and access management practitioner should have in their tool belt because it's a tool that does come in handy for the right situation. Simple example or a simple definition, virtual directory is a data consolidation tool, right? So it's great for connecting disparate systems of user data and making them look like one system. So let's break that down to a concrete example. Let's say I've got Active Directory, a couple of user database applications, a mainframe, and I want to see all of that data in one shot, right? When I connect, I want to understand the attributes from the mainframe that from David's account, these database applications, and an Active Directory. Well, with a virtual directory, I can hook up to all of those systems and then bring that information in and make it look like one LDAP entry or a JDBC table or whatever format that I needed to make it look like, hence the term virtual directory. It's a great tool to be able to take data and turn it into the interfaces that your other applications need. It's one data source to rule them all. Yes, I know Identity Jedi, and that's not a Jedi mentioned there, but it is a really cool tool for using to, again, to consolidate that data and make sure you can get it all in one place. So what else could you do with it? Why would you want all your user data in one place or to look from an interface perspective like it's in one place? Well, again, this is like the Swiss Army knife of tools to have. You can do things like branch authentication. So let's say, for instance, the next same example, that I want to be able to authenticate and see if a user exists within the mainframe, these database applications, or Active Directory. So what I can do is bring all those sources in and make it look like one directory branch when I go to my identity provider to go provide authentication. And so now my identity provider comes to my virtual directory, looks like an LDAP interface, and says, does CN equal David Lee / OU, blah, 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 whatever the distinguished name is. And for those of you that don't understand that, check back in another video. We'll probably break down directory structure for you. So basically now I can know that whether or not David Lee exists within this directory, and therefore I can go with authentication. And so I now branch that authentication across these disparate sources. The other thing is consolidate user schema, right? So all these different applications in these backends have their own user schema. I can bring that all into one. And again, I'm going to pick on LDAP just because I like it, to be quite honestly, but I can make that all look like one LDAP entry. So the mainframe data, the application data, the Active Directory data, all combined into one LDAP entry that I can now query for easy access, and then simplify access attributes. I can turn all of those attributes, whether it's permissions in the mainframe or this table row access in this database, I can all make it look like a group or different attributes or roles, again, within an LDAP entry, or I could take all this and turn it into like one big SQL table that things can query. So the benefits here are you're starting to consolidate this data, but also making it available for use to other applications. Specifically, when you come to identity and access management, things like access and authentication make it easier when you have one source to go through instead of a bunch of different ones that you have to jump through and find. So why would you use one? Well, plus what we just said, you can do things like, increase application coverage, right? So when you're starting your identity and access management journey and you want to start providing provisioning and access to all these different applications, usually when you're in a big enterprise, you've got hundreds, sometimes maybe even thousands of applications. And things that I've typically seen with deployments of identity and access management systems is you start off great, you get the big ones, but you start to slow down the more applications you have to bring in because it's harder and harder to either reach those administrators or it's using some little system. And so there's just things that slow that down. Your application coverage starts to slow down over time. So your first maybe 18, 19 months, you're rocking and rolling, you're onboarding applications like crazy, but after that, it starts to slow down, you kind of hit a plateau. Using a virtual directory can help with that. As you start to bring those applications into the virtual directory, again, your identity access management systems have one place to go and get that information. Also, you can simplify provisioning. Now, I'm going to put a little asterisk on this, but you can simplify provisioning from your identity and access management system. Again, one source that it's talking to, a database view, an LDAP view, whatever floats your boat. But now you can start to see those access attributes and manage them as groups or roles, but simple attributes that your identity access management system can see. Now, you do still need to manage the provisioning on the back end. Your identity management system talks to the virtual directory, makes the change. Now you need to take the virtual directory scripts and make sure that writes back to the end sources. So unfortunately, right, this doesn't help you get out of that situation of having to take changes and script them into the different areas, but it does kind of simplify it on your identity access management front. So all in all, some tips when you're starting to look at virtual directories. The first thing I would say, app inventory, right? Take a look and see at the apps that you have. Like, how many apps do you currently have in your organization? Is application coverage a thing for you? Are there more things that you want to be able to do with these applications and bring them in under your identity access management system? If so, a virtual directory may help. Of course, as always, do your due diligence. Understand the user schemas and things that you have going on in those applications. Why do these applications have different user schemas? Is there a broader effort going on within your organization to start to align these applications to use in one source? These questions will be good to know, again, as you start to maybe look at virtual directories. I would encourage you all to check them out. Radiant Logic has a great virtual directory offering. But yeah, do some research. Always, obviously, reach out if you have questions. Would love to talk to you about any questions that you ever have on any of these episodes. And that's it for the Jedi Council Room. Again, always keeping these things short, sweet, and to the point, but always happy to chat if you have more questions. So until the next time, take care, stay safe, don't forget to wash your hands. We'll see you later.